Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Introduction to Warboard webinar. My name is Marie Grieve from Costello Pharma Communications, and I'm here today with Adam Ward, who is the Technology Director for Space Group. And Warboard is a new platform from Space Group. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to take you through a walkthrough of what the platform actually entails. So you're aware that it's a collaboration platform for design management, and Adam's going to tell us how it works, what you need to be doing, what you need to be looking for, the software that it relates to, and basically how it's going to benefit you and your business. We're going to talk for about 30 minutes, and then there'll be an opportunity for questions at the end. But please do send the questions through to us as the webinar progresses, and then we'll monitor them, and then we'll pass them to Adam when we're finished later on. So what I'll do is I'll pass off at Adam now, and we'll get started.
Thanks, Marie. So I'm going to quickly jump into the presentation. A couple of slides, and then we'll jump straight into the software itself, Warboard. Marie's already done our introduction, so I'll skip that. So what I'm going to cover in this presentation is what is Warboard. That's what I'm going to spend most of my time on in this presentation. I'm not going to get into the technical details. That'll be in a following presentation. I'm going to explain what your dashboard is, creating projects and inviting users, updating clash tests, the project dashboard of Warboard. None of this stuff will mean anything at the moment, but it will shortly. And issue management, so how you manage these issues, as well as how you report upon these issues. Then at the end, a couple of tips and tricks and a couple of frequently asked questions. At the end of the webcast, I'll answer any questions you've got. So if you have any questions, put them in the question bubble down at the bottom. So we'll start with what is Warboard. The first thing, a bit of background on how Warboard came about. And this is quite important. Warboard is a tool which we've been using internally at BIM.Technologies, which is one of our BIM businesses now for the last 4 years. And it was originally created as an internal tool that we've used on some quite high-profile projects, such as Victoria Gate in Leeds, the new Design Museum in London with the apartments around it. Years ago now, 240 Blackfriars, we've used an iteration of Warboard internally. More recently, North Wharf Road, during the design stages, Warboard was utilised. And on huge projects, such as on Greenwich Peninsula, with people such as Waits, etc., using it on their projects. And on some huge projects, such as Chelsea Barracks, I think it's about 2 billion used to coordinate that project, as well as the new Brent Cross Shopping Centre. So it's not just for buildings, it can also be used for infrastructure. And what I'm trying to put across here is even though it is a new bit of software, it's the concept and it's developed over time internally. So it's been fine-tuned for that purpose. So Warboard at its core is a collaboration issue management platform. When I refer to issue management, some people call it clash management, clash detection. I use the word issue management because it's more than just two objects hitting each other. An issue might be something's wrong on site, or might be something's the wrong colour, which isn't a clash, it's an issue. So we call it issue management rather than clash management. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to just jump in to the actual software rather than show you PowerPoint and screenshots. I'll give you a live demo of it. So what I'm going to do now is just shrink down all my little boxes on the screen, just so I can see what I'm doing here. Make sure I don't knock you guys off. So warboard.co.uk is the website. What I'm going to do now is just log in, and I'll log in as myself, and let's hope that's right. Yeah, so the first screen I'm presented with when I log into Warboard is my dashboard, and this is an important screen for me. This tells me everything that's happening on all of my projects. So what we can see on here is my profile, where again I can go and edit my profile picture, my company name. I can change my company information and upload a new logo, and that's quite critical because that logo is what's used across all the branding on Warboard, etc. Then on the right, what I have here is all the projects I'm currently I own. Basically, I'm the owner of these projects, and I'll explain what that means in a second. Then down the bottom, I have any tasks assigned to me from these projects. So if I'm an engineer and I'm working on one of these projects, somebody might assign an issue to me. As soon as I log into Warboard, I'm presented with that issue and I can go and look at it and comment on it and understand it. So what I'm going to do now is just go into a project, and to do that I could click on here, but I'm going to click on all projects and I'm going to scroll down. Now what I'm trying to show here is these are my projects on the left. These are projects I'm invited to. So I could, a contractor, one of you could be using Warboard. You could have an enterprise Warboard account and you could invite me as Space Architect, for example, to collaborate on that project. So that's the difference. These are projects I own that I invite people to. And when I follow a project, it's projects where they've invited me to their project. I'm not the owner of that project, but I'm invited to it. And obviously you see all the status on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down Project McCulloch and I'm just going to click Open. Now this is what we call the project dashboard. And what this shows is the current snapshot in time of where this project's at. So the idea of Warboard is it allows anybody, non-technical, to view where that project is with regards to how many issues are remaining and how coordinated it is. So if you think about typically you print off a Navisworks report with tiny little images with lots of little bits, you give that to somebody and there's no scale of how well coordinated that building is. You could have 100 clashes but it could be a well coordinated building, or you could have 10 clashes and it could be a bad coordinated building. So what Warboard does, it allows even clients to log on and visually see the project's going in the right direction. So what we can see across the top here, and I'm just going to change my resolution to be more realistic. What we can see across the top is a chart which shows the active issues over time. So as we can see, the resolved issues, the blues, getting bigger. So that's telling me that this project's going in the right direction. The issues are getting resolved. I can see the red line, which is the new issues. So again, I can see when all of a sudden we get a big chunk of new issues appearing in the model. The current status in this model, there's 16 new clashes on the last upload. There's 15 active and there's 225 being resolved. And again, we get this in a chart, and then we get an overall coordination of how well coordinated the software thinks this project is. Even though you might think, well, 16 and 15 clashes, 31 clashes isn't a lot. Some of these clashes might be groups that contain hundreds of clashes. So actually, we take that into account when we calculate the coordination status. Then what we presented with down the bottom is member statistics. So we can actually see who's got the most issues outstanding. So we can see on this project, WSP, have some issues to resolve. So we can see who's kind of closing out issues, who isn't. We have number of attributes, which is basically model complexity. So we can see how complex a model is. And all of a sudden, if we get a drop like this, we can start to ask questions why. This is actually because a subcontractor model's been removed. So all of a sudden, it's dropped right down. And then we can see the history of the last few syncs with Warboard. And then the diary. So we can see in here, there's just a test meeting being put in there. Now, what I can also do is I can dive into more detail here. So if I click on clash tests, it'll take me into all the individual issues on this project. So these are what in Navisworks, these are called clash tests, in Celebri, etc. And you might be called different things, but it's basically it's a grouping of clashes. So what we can see in here is MEP versus structural steel. I click view. It'll then actually go and actually bring up and highlight all these issues. This is all in a web browser. So now what I can do is I can click on one of these. I can assign it to somebody. So I can assign it to Philip from WSP. I can put a resolve date, the date it's got to be resolved by, which is something you can't currently do in Navisworks out the box. And I can put a priority. Sorry, you can't put a resolve date. You cannot put a priority on there. So I can also put a priority high, medium, or low. And then what I can also do is add a comment if I want to. Now what I'm going to do with a clash down here is I'm going to assign one to myself. So this one here, I'm going to assign this one to, if I'm still on this project, Adam Ward. I'm going to put a date, it's got to be resolved as next Friday, and I'm going to put a high priority, I'm going to click save. And I'm also going to put a comment. This is good. Click save, put a comment on. So now if I go back to my project dashboard, that'll be assigned to me. I'll get an email at the end of the day telling me I've had a task assigned to me, etc. What I can also do with this is actually view more information about the objects which are clashing. So you can see in here, I can go down and actually see what these individual issues are. What I can also do is I can search in these. So if I'm on the telephone call to the engineer who's got a printout of the report, he'll be saying I'm looking at clash 202. I don't have to search that. All I can do is type 202 in here, and he'll bring it up instantly. So instantly I can see that issue by searching, and I can search by level, floor, zone, grid reference, etc. So the other thing you'll notice is Warboard automatically pulls through the grid reference, the roof, the level, the clash point, etc., etc. Now, if I go back to clash tests, the way Warboard works is you can upload your XMLs directly from Navisworks. You just export your XML, click upload, and it will extract all those into Warboard. You can upload a BCF, build collaboration format. So regardless of what software you use, whether it's Revit, Tekla, Bentley, Celebri, you don't have to be using Navisworks. You can upload issues using BCF and all on that. What you can also do is upload issues manually. So as I said earlier, you might be an issue where you took a photograph on site of something that's wrong, or you took a snapshot of a 2D drawing of something which is wrong. You might want to manually add that to Warboard. So again, you can click custom clashes, and you can click upload, and you can actually just go and select an image from anywhere. Let's just go and get one of Ben's face. There we go, and I can put a name in here. I can put 008 clash with this, and I'll put a good location is not applicable, and I'll just click upload, and that will now be uploaded to Warboard and added to the report. So again, you can add these issues that way. The other thing you can do is if you go back to the overview page of the project, one of the big features of Warboard is it prints off really nice reports. If I click view report here, what Warboard will generate instantly is a PDF with a cover sheet, a status sheet with all that information about who's got the most issues outstanding, model complexity, project summary, as well as a status page with all the clash sets. And then what you get is a full page view of each issue on there. So you can see you get full title, active, resolved. So unlike again out in Navisworks or other platforms where you get a very tiny image and a lot of useless data, we've got really nice presentable reports, and we've got multiple styles. So this is our modern style, but we have various other styles as well. Just while I'm on that, I'll show you that now. So obviously that's quite a nice style, but what we do have are two other styles out the box. So that's our modern style, which I've just shown you, which full HD images, non-pixelated. You get a stats page, you get a status page, you get little avatars on it, the comments, etc. And then we have a simple report style, which is designed to use less ink and use 3 times less paper. So what we do is we basically cram 3 issues onto a sheet rather than 1, and there's no big black headings. It's designed to use a lot less ink. The other thing is on Warboard, it's custom branded. So you can see it says BIM.Technologies in the bottom here, and on the cover page, when you update your own logo to Warboard, it will have your company logo on there as well. So it's not branded BIM.Technologies or Warboard, it's branded to your own company. One of the other unique features is we've got what's called time hop. So this is obviously the last upload, and there's been various uploads on lots of different dates on this project. I might want to go back in time and look at what the report looked like in history. So what I can do here is dive back to, in fact, let's go back to the very first one ever uploaded. And you can see all the issues are new because it was the first ever upload on here. And if I click view now, what we'll get on there is all the issues back in time. So if I quickly jump back. Now, in Warboard, we can, obviously these are all the members, so I can invite people to this project. I can also I kind of start typing now. I start typing Ben. You'll start to see pops up there. I can invite them as a guest, as a member, as a project admin. So guest means view-only access. A member means they can comment and assign issues. Project admin means they can upload new reports and sync issues with Navisworks, Solibri, etc. So you've got 3 user levels. As well as that, we've also got what's called enterprises. So you might be the IT guy or the BIM lead for a company. So what you can do is, under the company bit here, you can create so this is the BIM.Technologies team, or part of the BIM.Technologies team. I can go and invite people to an organization. So that means you have control over users rather than individual user levels on there. What I'm going to show now is, I think, is our native plugin. So I've talked about how Warboard can work with Navisworks, which it works really well with Navis. I'm just going to jump back. Sorry, I'm getting myself lost here. Jump back to that project. Jump back into here. So yeah, it works really well with Navisworks. You can upload the XML that Navisworks spits out default. You can also upload a BCF, building collaboration format. I might show you that as well if we have time. Or actually, really simple method is you can use our native Navisworks plugin. So in Navisworks, what we have is a plugin, a Warboard plugin. If I log in now, grab its space, and oh, that's my password. This will log me in, and when it logs in, it shows us all of, I have a lot of projects on Warboard, so it'll take about 10 seconds for mine, because I've got literally hundreds. But what you'll get is all the issues, all the projects, sorry, not issues, here. So you can see these are all the projects. And if I go and find that project Macallan, I can click open project. I get that's a different one actually. Let's open up a let's just open up a demo project at the bottom here. So here's all the clash sets, which it's automatically extracted from Navisworks. So these clash sets are here. You can see they named exactly the same. So Warboard pulls them through, and what it allows us to do is we can just click sync, and I'm not going to do it because I can pick which ones I want to sync, etc. Click sync, and it will go and sync through all those issues. I can also update my project image if I want to. So that's the image which Warboard uses on the overview page, etc. So if I wanted to, I could go and update that image just by clicking that button. I'm not going to, because it's going to overwrite a real project on there. But that syncs them over to Warboard on there. So I think that's a very quick overview. Obviously, we have lots of other features like the diary. So you can, in individual projects, I can add an event into here. House party. Beer. And I can put a date of this. So we'll put this on Saturday. We'll put this on. It's going to finish on Monday. We're going to party all week, all 2 days. I'm going to create an event. So that appears in there. Now everybody on this project will be notified of that. And most importantly, when I go back to my project dashboard, you can see I can see all the events that's happening. What you'll also see is that task I assigned earlier to myself will appear on here. So it's a very quick, it's a very easy way for non-technical people to view issues, see how the project's going with the charting, but also report upon them with really nice reports. It's a way to collaborate on a project without a £8,000 piece of software, etc. So that's a very quick overview. If there's any questions, I'll take them at the end. The only last few things I would say is the next webcast, I'm going to get into a lot more detail on the technical clash management. So how you manage issues in Solibri and Navisworks, how you upload them to Warboard, how you take 20,000 clashes and within 10 minutes knock them down to 10 or 20 or even 100 useful issues. It's not really a Warboard webinar, it's more of a Navisworks or Solibri webinar, I suppose, but it'd be really useful for working with Warboard. So I'll cover that in a following webinar. Yeah. So that's a quick overview. If there's any questions, don't hesitate to get in touch. There we go. So I'll just shut this back down. jump back. That's basically what I've just mentioned. And then see if I can get the question pane up.
Thanks, Adam. That was a really, really interesting overview of how it actually works. A couple of questions I've had in advance of the webinar for people who actually couldn't make it, and obviously we're recording this, so we will put this up onto the Warboard YouTube channel. But just explain for someone, how do they initially get started? What do they have to do to actually set up their account and start uploading their project?
Yep, so you can sign up for Warboard for free. So you can sign up for a free account, which allows you to sync up to 50 issues or upload 50 issues into it. Then it's a tier after that, depending on how many users you want on Warboard. But it's really quick, takes 2 minutes. Once you're in there, creating a project literally takes 10 seconds. Click Create New Project. In fact, I'll show you how quick it is. Click Create New Project, fill in the information, pick your report style, click Create, you're done. Obviously, you have to get your issues in Navisworks and sync them up to it, but really, really quick to do that.
And you mentioned earlier in the talk about the software, and you mentioned Navisworks, but just tell us a little bit more about which software this is compatible with specifically.
Yeah, so because it was developed in-house, originally as an internal tool, it's got very tight integration with Navisworks, hence why we've got the Navisworks plugin, hence why we support Navisworks XML. But we realized when it becomes commercial, there's lots of other tools out there. So what we've done is we introduced BCF, which is an open BIM Building Smart approved format, which means regardless of what software you're using, whether it's Celebri, Tekla, even Revit has a plugin for BCF. It allows you to export those issues out of your software straight into Warboard, and more interestingly, what I didn't mention in the webcast, back out of Warboard. So after all those issues have been commented on, assigned to people inside of Warboard, you can export a BCF back out of Warboard, load that back into your Revit application, your Celebri application, your Tekla application, and actually view those issues in context in the 3D model using the BCF format.
One of the questions that we've had from one of the listeners is, can Warboard interact directly with live models?
So the answer to that one is kind of. So using the BCF format I've just mentioned, you can do it that way. Currently, Warboard doesn't have any 3D functionality. What I can say is version 2, which we're already working on, does integrate 3D. Hence why we have the Navisworks plugin. So when you sync your model to Warboard, it's also extracting the 3D model up. So in future, and don't any purchase decisions made on this, blah, 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 blah. But what you'll be able to do is view issues in context. So if I go back to this project here and I go into one of these issues, what I'll be able to do in here is just click on this and click View in Context, and it'll open up in a 3D viewer.
Okay, you mentioned earlier about level of access, that there were 3 levels of access.
Yeah. There's 3 user levels, so this isn't sign up. When you sign up, there's 6 options, there's 6 levels you can pick depending on how many users you want. But once you're into Warboard, you can assign a user who you invite to your project 3 levels of access. So the 3 levels of access are a guest, and a guest means basically you can log into Warboard and you can view issues and you can see what's going on, you can see the charts, you can see all the comments, but you can't comment on any issues, you can't delete any issues, and you can't interact with them. Project admin, which is the project owner, for want of a better word, has full control. He can upload new reports, sync with the model, add new members to the project, etc. Yeah.
There's a quick question came in about, does it have links to Autodesk BIM 360?
So what it doesn't. So yes, it doesn't have a plugin for BIM 360 currently. Like I said, that might change in version 2. That's all I can say on that, but that might change in version 2. But again, if you BIM 360 View, if you can export out that federated model, you can push that through back up through Navisworks, or I think even BIM 360 Glue's got a BCF export now as well, so that's another option. But again, it's coming.
Okay, and for the non-technical people you mentioned a little bit earlier, it's ideal for them. How easy is it for someone who's not so familiar with BIM platforms?
It was actually designed for one of our clients, James Pellet, originally. So James Pellet was paying us a lot of money to do BIM coordination on his projects. And he said, actually, I don't understand you telling me there's 50 issues left. I can't see those issues. I don't know if any little issues, big issues. So he wanted, and he didn't understand, even if we give him a PDF report, was that good or bad? Is 50 issues normal? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? So the reason we created Warboard originally was for that. So people like James Pellet could log in, look at this chart, or these charts, and instantly say, yes, this chart's going in the right direction. Things must be going good. He knows whose asses he's got to kick, etc. So everything's, it's designed to be very visual. Unlike some of our other competitor platforms, which are more in-depth technical, we do all that clever stuff, but we do it behind the scenes. So ours is designed to be very visual and easy to use.
Okay, well, that's all the questions that I've had in. Thank you everyone for joining us. We are recording this webinar and we will put it live on our YouTube channel. There's also the opportunity for you to have a one-to-one live demo if you wish. So if you'd like to do that, message us or go back through the email system or log on to the Warboard website and we'll get in touch with you to arrange a one-to-one demonstration. So thanks again and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.